Outlaw Sports is brought to you by Molson Canadian, made from Canada, and Rocky Mountain Barbecue, Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best.
Just before the Stampeders take on the Argos, I think we should revisit some of the things that took place in the CFL this past week. Anthony Calvillo setting the all-time mark for passing yards by a quarterback in pro football. I thought it was interesting to see Chris Berman go on ESPN and talk about that and give the guy credit because, down in the States, everything is NFL, and if it's not the NFL, it doesn't mean anything. But right. I thought it was very classy, and it was certainly a great thing to see CFL get recognized for that. And if it was that easy, somebody else would have done it by now.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
73,000 yards.
Yes.
And you think of obviously in the CFL terms, it's easier to get yardage, but when you're that consistent for that long, it should be recognized. And Chris Berman's been a great supporter of the CFL over the years, and he really should be commended for recognizing the value of this league. And now you look at some of the players that have gone down there in recent years, and I think that's really helping because watching the game the other night, Brandon Browner gets an interception for a touchdown, and they're talking constantly about, well, where is this guy from? Well, CFL. That's where he was the last few years. Calvillo's mark, just incredible, again, that he can do so many great things when he's getting older and figuring things out. And I think it's a testament to giving quarterbacks a chance and letting them grow. And then once they start building, just keep going with them and keep building and keep trying new things, right? Anthony Calvillo has done so many different things than he did earlier in his career, and he's much better now than he ever was. So I'm so impressed with the way he's done it. And one thing that you talk to some of the players around the league, everybody has respect for Anthony Calvillo. Yeah. He's such a competitor, and he's such a decent person. He's not a yeah me type of guy. I think part of the thing that stumbled his early career was the Grey Cup record, losing the 5 Grey Cups, and then almost not being able to finish it off there with the Rough Riders in 2009. Yep. And getting that one, I think, turned things around, obviously. And now nobody's talking about that. Now he's the all-time passing leader in the CFL, or in pro football history. Where's he going to finish up? That's the good question.
Yeah,
is he done this year?
No. There's no way he's done this
year. No way. No, it can't be. And
yeah.
The thing is, if he's healthy now, and it sounds like everything's good with his thyroid and his cancer issue, he can keep going. Maybe 80,000 yards would be in the future. That'd be fun to see.
Well, when you see guys like Warren Moon and Brett Favre and all these guys that he's passed, that puts it into perspective. And I know you'll get the argument south of the border that, hey, it's not the NFL. But Warren Moon, certainly an ambassador to the CFL, and he put some great numbers up here. Plus, he put good numbers up there. I remember the first time I ever saw Calvillo was in expansion with Las Vegas, and that was 1994. It's called the Stamp Games. And I remember saying to Don Sadler and Marshall Toner, I said, this guy is a stud. I mean, he's finding Curtis Mayfield, and they had the long game going. It was a disastrous franchise, 2,000 people watching the game in the Dust Bowl there. But then he went to Hamilton and struggled. It looked like his career is over until he went to Montreal as a backup. But you just got to keep going at it, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, Danny McManus was pretty brutal in his first parts of his career.
Well, and that's the thing is that when you think of and I go back to the Cleo Lemon thing. I'm looking at his numbers. He kept improving over the time, and if somebody kept going with him now, maybe he would be, not Anthony Calvillo, obviously, but maybe he would be a viable starter. I just think that in this league, obviously, you want to win right away. You think you should be able to turn it around immediately, and it's not always the case, and guys give up on quarterbacks too quickly. But that's the way. That's why there's only 2 guys over 70,000 yards in the CFL.
Talk about the Stamps. They have to play. It's got to be a must-win. But Toronto, for some reason, has pulled up some upsets over the past couple of years against the Stampeders. Yeah. Maybe they lull them to sleep. But if the Stampeders are serious about advancing to the playoffs, they have to win. The only way they can get home field advantage is run the table.
Right. To guarantee home field advantage is to run the table all the way through. You would think that this would be a nice, easy win for them, but they've never traditionally had success at Toronto. This is a different scenario. The Argonauts have just been eliminated from the playoffs. They shouldn't be playing for anything. There's a little bit of a team revolt going on there. Corey Boyd, the running back, is whining about not getting enough touches, which is funny because he had 11 carries against Montreal. And Jermaine Copeland is sort of complaining that he should get the ball more. And it's hard to argue about that when the receiving core is as bad as it is right now. But that situation looks like it should be it should be an easy win for the Stampeders, but they're going to have to go in there focused and make sure the mindset isn't that they've already won this game without having to do anything. A guy like Chad Owens can really burn you, and you look at the way that the Stamps coverage team was really good against the Lions, but you have to maintain that week to week, and it's a tough thing against a guy like Owens. When he gets the ball in his hands, anything can happen.
Jobs have to be on the line in Saskatchewan. I would suggest Brendan Taman has to go. He has not done enough. Coming in here, I know it was he had tough shoes to fill, but I don't think he's done enough. I mean, they knew that they had all these big holes, and again, this is just a brutal football team to watch.
Yeah, that was just awful watching that game on Thanksgiving Day and thinking that this could be interesting because if Saskatchewan wins, they still have a chance to pass Edmonton and get back in that race. And now they need to win all their games and have Hamilton lose all their games, and they can be the crossover team. Well, they've scored eight. They've scored 8 points in 3 games. It's going to be pretty hard to win a game after that. Darian Durant, it felt like such a weird scenario. Him coming out after halftime, down 15-0, and coming out on a broken foot and saying this game is that important that we're going to play on a broken foot and risk further injury, risk having to go into this off season and have surgery and set himself further back. I think they need to shut him down right now and just focus on next year. Figure out what they've got as a backup quarterback. Ryan Dinwiddie doesn't look that great. Give Cole Bergquist a chance. Just do something and mix it up a bit. This team is chock full of veteran players, old guys, and at key positions. They got to turn it over, and it's going to be tough to do, and especially considering that I think Brendan Taman's out the door, as you said, and then they're going to be starting from square one again.
Yep. As competitive as the West is right now, the East on paper looks that way, but I just got a gut feeling that Montreal is just the calm before the storm because, I'd like to see Winnipeg win this thing just because they haven't been around for a while. They're so banged up. Offensively, they don't have, if Buck is just barely holding on. I didn't think they're going to beat Hamilton, but they surprised us. And Hamilton, on any given day, can serve up a turkey or they can be ready for fine dining.
Yeah. Well, and both Winnipeg and Hamilton are really enigmas. You don't know what you're going to get from either of those teams. Yeah. Winnipeg, I thought they would lay an egg there in Hamilton, and Hamilton had done so well the previous 2 weeks, and just opposite occurs. So with those two teams, I don't know what's going to happen because Winnipeg has Montreal again on their schedule. If they beat Montreal, then they have a chance of winning the East, but they're also going to have to focus and make sure they win all their other games too. So the playoff race is going to be fun. The last month of the season is usually just tune-up time for a lot of these teams. It's actually going to be a race, and I'm excited about that. The 3 teams in the West, obviously, tied at 8-6. That makes for an interesting scenario. In the East, Hamilton still has a chance, and because if they start getting on a roll again, they can eclipse Winnipeg if Winnipeg stumbles. So. And
the thing too, Ian, with games that matter, you get a little. There's more on the line. Yeah. There's more on the line, and it sharpens you up for the playoffs a little more.
Right. It should sharpen you up for the playoffs. Plus, you're also putting players in a position to get hurt and lose guys going into the playoffs. And you remember Winnipeg, the last time they made the Grey Cup, they lost Kevin Glenn in the West Final. And still went to the Grey Cup and obviously lost. So that's the type of thing that can happen. You can lose a guy in the last few weeks, and it could really affect your playoff run.
Sorry about the noise there. Apparently they're moving a dead body out here.
That's all right.
Tired of going to redneck barbecues? Well, you better call Rocky Mountain Barbecue. Alberta barbecue cuisine at its best. Great tasting food, clean and efficient service. Check us out online or call Rocky Mountain Barbecue.